All right. Welcome to the Renatus J.A.M. My name is Jay Stark. Happy 2022. Joining me, as always, is my fearless co-host,
Mr. Matt Schneider.
Mr. Matt Snyder. Matt, we have now entered into an all-new year. A whole new beginning. Whole new world. So tell me, Mr. Snyder.
Yeah.
What is new and exciting?
Well, we've got our national conference coming up.
Oh my goodness.
That's kind of a big deal around here.
It's kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
So
looking forward to that one.
What can you tell me about the national?
So it is going to be held at the Davis Conference Center, which is by far my favorite location. P.S.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we did it down at
the Mount America Expo Center.
In Sandy off 90th.
Yep.
That was great. That was cool stuff, big room and stuff. But no, the Davis Conference Center, it's like having it at home. I mean, it's home, right?
Yeah,
it's home. So anyways, picture walking into a room with 1,300 people that are all just as excited about Renatus as you are.
Yes.
It's incredible. The energy, and we've talked about it before on here, there's nothing like it. Like the energy that is in that room literally makes your hair stand up. You get goosebumps. You get goosebumps, especially, that lip sync video comes up and the music goes up, and I love it so much. So anyways, don't miss nationals. Do we have a date yet on
when the national conference is? Yes,
No,
we do have that date.
I know that.
That's good. What is that date, Matthew?
On it's the March 31st through the April 2nd.
Yes.
Yeah.
In Davis County, Utah.
Davis County at the Davis Conference Center.
Booyah.
In Layton,
Utah.
Where there's like 5 hotels within like a stone's throw from it. So
yes. Yep.
Am I moving around too much again? Aaron says I move too much.
You do. You are antsy in your seat.
I'm a mover and
a shaker. Boom.
Yeah.
Oh, that was loud.
So
sorry. I apologize, everybody online.
All good. Anyways, looking forward to that. It's an incredible day of training. There's so much information that gets packed into these 3 days.
Yes.
Right? There's obviously my favorite, Bob Steiner, will be up in front on the stage.
Booyah.
I can't wait, after listening, I can't wait to hear Krista Crook on Saturday morning at 9 a.m.
10 a.m.
Oh, that's right. We did bump it back an hour because
we get started a little late on Saturday mornings.
Yeah. Because
everybody's always, I don't want to say, the night before we're up until 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning.
There has been one, maybe two, where it was after 3 a.m. when I was leaving the facility. So getting in my car and seeing it past 3 a.m.
Oh, that's kind of a depressing moment, but an exciting one at the same time.
It is.
We have our, Thursday is a day packed full of training. And I've heard rumors about what we may be doing or not doing on Thursday evening. We've got kind of a couple of ideas that are percolating.
Huh. And normally we do an intro presentation.
Right. And this year with the Mega Reunion Tour making it all around the nation, we may actually leave Thursday night open. I'm not quite sure yet. Don't take my word for it on that one.
Right.
But Thursday is going to be a day full of training. Friday, we start at 9 a.m. We go until 2 p.m. with no lunch break. And then we break for a couple of hours. We're back in the room by 5 p.m. to start. And if you've never attended one of the Nationals award banquets, please understand that when I say it is an epic awards banquet, I've never been to anything even close to it.
Brace yourself. Yeah.
We get started at 5 p.m. The goal is always to be out of the room by midnight, and we usually do not reach that goal.
Yeah. Well, normally we start at 6. Are we starting it at 5 this time?
We're starting it at 5. Yeah.
So
we've learned that if we start at 5, it tends to give us a quicker jump on getting everyone fed.
It does.
We can start the award ceremony.
I like that. I like that a lot because it's usually 1, 2, 3 before we're getting out of there.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So then we're gonna have the awards ceremony on Friday night. So we get started an hour later on Saturday. We'll go from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Again, this is going to be an opportunity unlike any of the previous nationals that we've had. This one will be absolutely centric to you as an ICM. Everything that we're going to craft, everything that's going to be included will revolve around how, as an ICM, I can be more effective in my marketing, how I can reach a broader audience, how I can serve and contribute and just become more. I feel like already 2022 is the year of becoming.
Yes.
You know, we ended 2021 powerfully, and I am so excited to keep that momentum going through 2022 to see what we can create. But I feel like Bob queued it up perfectly when he talked about that Renatus is really a facilitation company to allow people to become the change they wish to see in the world, to become more.
Yes.
And I love it.
That's the way I've always thought about Renatus is we're here to help people reach their full potential in life, what they really want to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, that's cool. Yeah, I can't wait for nationals. I particularly can't wait for this one because, even though the last couple have been great,
this one,
it's not the same when it's online. It's so much different when it's in person.
We have some people that have been with Renatus for 3 years now that have never seen an in-person live national conference. Audrey's perfect test case.
Audrey's never been here. Been to a live national conference, and so you got to show up. You got to say hi to Audrey if you see her. So she's the best.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So the national conference is almost always where the business goes from your head to your heart, where you take everything that you've learned, all of the knowledge, all of the processes, and all of the ideas that you've captured regarding Renatus and the Renatus opportunity, and then it sinks into your soul. It just, every single person that I've talked to that's attended the national conference goes, man, if I had known it was going to be this phenomenal, I would have invited everybody I knew. So don't wait to figure that out until the end of the national conference and go, if I knew it was going to be this awesome. Go ahead and invite everybody right now.
You know what's funny is when I hear you say that, it sounds like just something you would say to get people.
Right.
I actually hear those words come out of somebody's mouth every year.
That's a direct quote from so many people.
It really is. And don't make that mistake. It's just, it really, people do say that. So we also are in the midst of, or I guess it's done, but ICM renewals.
Oh yeah. Yep.
They're done, man.
I'm
still seeing some come through.
They are. So
good for you if you did, but yeah.
Bob Steiner has generously offered a little bit of a grace period for any ICM that missed the renewal point in December, by December 31st.
Yep.
He has allowed them a grace period in January. Now they can't collect commissions. They can't even
You're not really an ICM.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
But the qualification status and the teams have not yet fully rolled.
Correct.
So
we
he's
haven't
allowed
wiped the system.
Right.
When does that wipe happen?
That wipe happens in February every year. So if you haven't yet to renew, don't delay any longer. Renew now.
Make it happen.
Make it happen.
Yeah.
You don't want to be one of those that, every single year we get people that are like, oh, I missed it and I'm really sorry. Can I renew? And we have to say, it hurts my heart to say this, but no, you can sign up as a new ICM.
But there's nothing we can do.
Yeah, but we
no
can't
way to
help
bring
you
it back.
Renew.
Yeah.
Once the bell rings, we can't unring it. So anyway, get renewed. And to answer one of your questions that you asked that I did not answer, I have heard whisperings that the national conference will be on the calendar and you'll be able to register for it this coming Monday.
Oh, fantastic. That was my question.
Yeah.
So
I avoided it skillfully.
You did skillfully because, it's not hard to get me off on some other tangent, but yeah.
Oh, man. So, one other thing that's going on right now is the 10-day challenge.
Yeah, buddy.
And so today is day 2 of
number 4.
Yes.
By the way.
Yes, Quattro.
Yeah, and word on the street is we're gonna have some 4-timers.
So Bob continues to say, so we've gone through the Spartans Unite, right? So he put together a series of 10 weeks of trainings where every single week he'd get on a Zoom call live with all Renatus Spartans and have an open discussion with them. He would have a little training. He would answer any questions that they would have, and it has been amazing, truly amazing. But his request on every single one of those calls has been, I want to see 500 Spartans on stage with us at the national conference. And I think we might get there.
Really?
Oh my goodness. We have had
That's
so
incredible.
much. We've had so much activity. So our every single 10-day challenge has gotten bigger, right? The first one was big.
Yeah.
The second one was bigger. The third one was huge. And this one, it is already looking like it's going to be our biggest yet.
Oh man,
So,
that's awesome.
So
I haven't seen those. I haven't seen the numbers for it. So that's really exciting.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I'm seriously excited about it. But it was really an opportunity. The 10-day challenge is where every single ICM, regardless of how long they've been in the business, can get refocused on the fundamental processes, the fundamental skills and exercises that are needed for an ICM to get started. So a lot of people have been in the business for a little while, but maybe, during COVID, during the quarantine, maybe your business stalled a little bit. Well, the 10-day challenge is the perfect place to get re-engaged. You start there, you start doing your homework every day, and you will see results.
Yeah.
And it's been a lot of fun because we've had a number of people that have become 2-time Spartans, and this last time we actually had a few 3-time Spartans, and every single time they say, I learn more, I'm able to do more, and now this is something that I'm inviting all of my team to do with me.
I love it.
And so, be the example, get out there, do the 10-day challenge, and the results are, they're incredible.
Yeah.
So how does one join the 10-day challenge?
You join the Facebook group.
It's that hard.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. What do you remind me, Jay? Because it's like I think you have to put in Renatus 10-day to get it to pull up, right?
Actually, if you put in Renatus, Renatus,
yeah,
it's like one of the first
it'll
5
just
options.
come up. So yeah, just search that.
Yeah.
And look for Renatus 10-day challenge
Yep.
and join the group.
We have had a couple of people that are like,
fantastic.
I don't have Facebook, and it's like, well, create an account.
Yeah, you don't have to. Like have. Like your pro. You don't have to put out like don't build if you don't want a Facebook. Don't build out some giant profile. Just put in an email and create an account and use it for this. I don't know. So yeah.
And if you're not using your real name on your Facebook account, we will ask you, what's your name, just to make sure that we're verifying everybody in the group is.
They've got to be an ICM.
Yeah, where they're supposed to be. But this is already shaping up to be an incredible 10-day challenge.
I love it. That's cool.
Pretty phenomenal. All right.
What else? We got anything else?
You know what? That's all I had on my list.
Just our guest?
Just our featured guest.
Our phenomenal featured guest.
Phenomenal. Matthew, why don't you do us the honor and introduce our featured guest?
All right, I'm going to bring out our featured guest today. Our featured guest is one of my favorite people on the whole planet. I get to work with this individual on a regular basis, and I absolutely love it. Somebody that I know to operate with the highest and utmost of integrity, honesty, and is somebody who seems to find a way to push people farther and bring out the best in themselves. So I'm going to bring out Mr. Jay Stark as our featured guest.
Boom, baby.
Bet you didn't see that one coming.
I don't think I've ever been a guest on our own podcast.
You
before.
have not.
All right.
So now is the time. Tell us all of your dirty secrets. What was your first tattoo?
Well,
I'm just kidding.
You got to buy me dinner first.
Yeah. No. Jay, I have a few questions for you, but
Okay.
First of all, I'd just like if you could just expand upon how did you get started in Renatus?
Oh, okay. So it was a stormy night. No, I'm just kidding. All right. So here's the deal. The long and short of it is that I used to work for the biggest private employer in the state of Utah, which is Intermountain Healthcare.
Yes.
Here in Utah. And I worked in supply chain logistics.
Uh-huh.
And, that's not my bread and butter. Anyway. So I like to write. And so I helped my sister-in-law write a paper. Mm-hmm. And shortly thereafter, she was talking to her father-in-law, and her father-in-law says, "Hey, I'm starting up this company, and I'm looking for somebody who can write. Do you know anybody?" And so my sister-in-law calls me, and she goes, "Jay, I know you can write. Are you interested in potentially hooking up with Bob Steiner?" And, Bob and I knew each other. We had met a couple of times, especially, at the wedding when, she married his son. And I said, you know what? Never hurts to have a conversation. Let's talk. And so my wife and I have been real estate investors for over 18 years. No, I lied. Over 17 years, almost 18 years now.
I didn't know. Man, the time flies. I had no idea it was that long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, my real estate investing business is almost an adult now.
Yes, it is.
Legally, getting there. Anyway,
almost.
So I sat down with Bob. And this was back in the day when the Founders webinar was at 7 p.m. on Monday nights.
The good old days when it was called the Founders webinar.
That's right. And so I sat down with Bob at 5:30 or 6 p.m.
Yeah.
And so he was pressed for time. He knew that we did not have a lot of time before he had to get ready for the Founders webinar.
Right.
And it's at this point in time.
Was this just in his office?
I'm sitting in his home office with Bob Steiner. We're talking about, I've been a real estate investor for a while. I had consumed the education in his previous company, but he and I had never really connected before his son started. You are the link.
Met
here.
Linz and we started.
Yeah. And so, we just started talking. And we started to go back and talk a little bit about the previous company and about where my wife and I were at as far as real estate investing and all that different stuff. And then he basically just looked at me and he said, "If I were to offer you a position, would you accept it?" And I sat back and I said, "Yes." And he goes, "You don't need to go home and think about it? You don't need to go home and talk to your wife?" Now, granted, I'd been working for one of the most secure industries.
Biggest corporation biggest
private employer in the state of Utah.
Yeah.
And in one of the most secure industries in the middle of the Great Recession.
And I think, in the middle of the Great Recession, what do you got? 5 kids at home?
Yeah. At that point in time, we had 5 kids.
Yep.
And I said, "No, I don't need to talk to my wife." And he goes, "What do you mean?" I said, "This is the right thing, and my wife trusts me."
Boy, that's big, Jay. That's big to know and let alone to have that kind of relationship with your wife.
Yes,
right?
Yeah, and I pulled out, or, I went out and got in the car, called my wife, and I said, "Hey, funny story. I just quit my job." And she's like, "Wait, what?" And, I explained it to her, and she said, "You know what? You're right. I do trust you."
Yeah.
And so 2 weeks later, this was in March of 2011, I started working in Bob's basement. And that was a shift, going from working in these hospitals, these different facilities that I was in, going to work in Bob's basement.
Yeah.
And
in the exercise room.
It was really, it was crazy I don't know. Those days, that was the wild, wild west, man.
It was.
We were running and gunning, and gave me opportunities to jump into the deep end of the pool on so many different projects. You know, when we first started, we would have to take our studio to a room that we had rented to shoot the original videos that we created. And so the very first video that we create was Chris Albin. And we had him come in and redo creative acquisitions. We renamed the class to Real Estate Red Flags. So we had creative acquisitions, real estate red flags. We did 5 days with Chris Albin, and we had to go and set up all of the equipment in the Davis Conference Center. It took us hours.
Well, it took a full day.
It took forever.
Full day, if I recall, at least, right? Because I was kind of outside looking in at this time.
Yeah.
But I remember it being like a full day. And who's that guy? Was his Grant?
LeGrand, yeah.
And he would be in there putting all the video equipment together and everything, and then he'd sleep at the house, at our house.
Yeah, oh yeah. It was. It's looking back at it now, I'm like, man, those were fun times. It was crazy, but it was fun.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And even going back to the very first conversation that I had with Bob, he painted for me this picture of potential, of possibility. And I was in.
Yeah.
And it didn't matter. I was in.
So why were you so sure and so in?
You know, it's really interesting that Bob's vision, it wasn't so much what picture he painted as far as, you know, taking Renatus where we were going and all of that. It was how he was painting it. It was focusing on serving our customers. It was focusing on empowering people to become more, to push further past, you know, and sometimes to push people beyond their limitation, their self-imposed limitations.
Yeah.
And that resonated with me at a level that I had never felt before. And I had never been so inspired by a leader who could look at business and then combine it with I don't want to call it self-development, because I think that is actually a little short-sighted, but instead self-creation, self-belief.
I like that. Yeah, I like that. That's a better term for it.
Yeah. And so when he painted that picture for me, I thought, you know what? It does not matter what we do. I will ride or die with this guy. So I'm in.
That's cool.
I was like, and I've told him that probably 500 times since then. I said, it doesn't matter what we do. If we're doing Renatus, if we're selling tacos on the side of the street, man, it's me and you.
Yeah.
I'm in.
Yeah.
And so yeah. And what we've been able to create inside of Renatus. Now I say we, it's really Bob, and I get to help, but this is really Bob's vision. He is a visionary unlike anyone I've ever met.
Yeah.
Even just, he's a visionary. And by applying his vision with the focus of empowering people, it creates this desire, this deep desire within me to want to be a better person. And my wife, she does not love public speaking. You know, I enjoy speaking to, you know, all of our tens of adoring fans. This one's for you, but it's
double digits here.
Right? The air's getting thin up here, but no, my wife does not love public speaking. But one of the very first opportunities that she had to get on stage, where she was like, I don't really know what to say. She's like, the best compliment that I can pay Bob Steiner is that my husband comes home at the end of every day wanting to be a better husband.
Yeah, that is awesome. That is such a powerful statement right there.
Yeah. Huh. Yeah, so I have been committed to Bob Steiner and his vision from the very beginning.
Yeah.
And I have known that this was going to be so much bigger once people fully grasped what Renatus was about. That it's not a company that's just about teaching people to invest in real estate or how to function in a business or to create a business or tax advantage or any of that. It's all about becoming more, about creating in ourselves a belief and a knowledge that we can do more. And I mean, we have so many stories. Michael Huggins is one of my favorite stories to talk about, because he went from working 2 jobs, not even owning a car, living in his girlfriend's mom's basement apartment, to now being one of our top income earners. And it's not because Renatus somehow took him into a corner and gave him all of these, widgets and different things. It's because Renatus instilled in him the belief in himself that he could do it, that he could push past all of these roadblocks that were in his way before. And he did. And I mean, there are so many different stories that we could talk about, but I'm going to talk a little bit about my story, about how with Bob Steiner, with his encouragement and with his demonstration and his belief in me, it's instilled a new level of understanding, not only in who I am, but who I am deliberately becoming. Because I'm always in the act of becoming. I'm never done.
We all are, right? We're all ever changing and
True
learning
that.
and growing. And
True that.
You're saying you're purposeful.
Yes,
It.
I am intentional. I'm accountable, and I am progressing, and I love that. I love that motion in my life of constantly moving forward and constantly pushing beyond my own current self-imposed limitations. And that's what Bob Steiner has done for me. And that's what Renatus has done for me. Renatus has not only forever changed my life, but it's changed the lives of my children. It's changed the lives of one day their children, because it has completely altered how I view myself and how I talk to them and how I can tell them, hopefully I can inspire them the same way that Bob has inspired me to believe in themselves, to know that they can do more.
That's cool. Do you have any examples or thoughts of what you were in 2011, the self-limiting beliefs that you might have had at that time, and where you're at now?
I could give you so many. It's I'm trying to think of what maybe the most impactful could have been. Okay, I'm gonna tell you a stupid story. Very stupid story.
You got my attention.
I'm almost embarrassed to share this.
Ooh, now you really got my attention.
But I don't get embarrassed.
Yeah, he doesn't get embarrassed much. So this is good. All right.
So in the beginning,
okay,
Bob gave me an assignment.
Yeah.
A simple assignment. Jay, order pencils for Renatus. Mm-hmm. We used to do those Scantron type of assessment questionnaire dailies.
To fill out the bubble.
Yeah. So during the classes, we'd have everybody, and then we'd run them through the scanner, and we'd get all the results, and we would... Anyway, and so we were looking at pencils, and we decided we were going to do this mechanical pencil. Right at the last minute, I had this flash in my mind of, oh no, they need to be number 2 pencils, right? Mm-hmm. Because that's what Scantrons require.
It doesn't read other types of pencils, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Now, a number 2 pencil, for anybody who doesn't remember, was the density of the lead inside of the pencil. Yeah. And it's not actually lead, it's graphite. But
it is,
anyway, the density of the material inside of the pencil is what qualifies it as a number 2.
Yeah.
And so I switched. I switched right at the last minute. I threw away our design, and I got a wood pencil that was a number 2.
Uh-huh.
And there was this moment when Bob opened the box and he saw that these were wood pencils, not the mechanical pencils that he thought he was going to get. And he just, I'm trying to think of how to say this right. Winston Churchill, one of my favorite quotes, and pardon my French, this is a direct quote from Winston Churchill.
Okay.
He said something like, it was either the word tact or diplomacy. I can't remember which one he used, but he said, tact is being able to tell a man to go to hell in such a way that he looks forward to the trip. And it was that moment when I experienced Bob's tact for the very first time, where he could tell me what I did wrong and what I could do to fix it, instead of telling me I was stupid or I was a bad person or any of it. And this sounds so ridiculous now that I say it out loud.
No, not at all. These small little things matter. But this is cool.
What Bob empowered me to do right then and there was to be able to make a mistake and fix it and do better. And previous to that in my life, if you made a mistake, you were a failure. If you made a mistake, you were not good enough. You were, short of perfection.
Shouldn't have the job or whatever, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And Bob showed me that it's progress over perfection.
Amen.
Do a little bit better. And that has been one of the biggest changes that has happened in my life, is the belief that if I fall short, that doesn't make me a failure. That just shows me that I have room to improve.
Yeah.
And then I improve and I can do better and better and better.
I love that story.
And I got to tell you, I have one of those dumb pencils on my desk to remind me.
Yeah.
To always be improving.
We're all human, man, and the process is working to become better, rather than being perfect all of a sudden out of nowhere, right? Like,
we're all going to mess up. We are all going to make mistakes. We're all going to fall short. We're going to fail. We're going to bang our heads on the wall from time to time.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite Nelson Mandela quote: I don't lose. I win or I learn. That's what Bob's taught me. He's taught me how to learn, and he's taught me how to take that knowledge, that learning, and to win. And it's like, it's empowering. When you look at these opportunities, instead of you saying, I failed, you say, I learned. Look at what I learned here. Look at what I can do now because of that experience.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It changes your frame on life.
Yeah, it does.
I mean, it changes everything.
Yeah.
And so,
I love that story. I got to see this pencil. I have not seen this pencil.
I'll show it to you. You know what? I tell you what. If we have enough requests, maybe I'll bring a box of these pencils to the national conference to remind you too that it's progress over perfection.
Wait a minute. You have a box of these pencils still?
We didn't do anything with them.
How many do you have?
I probably have 1,000 pencils still.
We should give those out to the first 1,000 people that register for the national conference.
I tell you what, I don't know how many I have, so I won't make any promises right here. But I will count.
First come, first serve.
I will count them, and I'll bring them with me at the national. And anybody who asks me for a pencil, I'll give them a pencil.
I so want one of these pencils. I have never wanted a pencil so bad in my life, but I want a pencil that is a symbol of the fact that I should always be working on progressing and not focused on my mistakes. I love that.
Yeah.
Man, okay, so I've just got a question or two more for you just around real estate. You and your wife have done a lot of real estate since inception of Renatus. You said you've been a real estate investor for like 17 years.
Yep.
So almost an adult.
Yep.
Already an adult, I think, in Arkansas.
Of age. Kentucky.
In Kentucky. Anyways, no.
Sorry, I was raised in Cleveland. We made fun of Kentucky.
Yeah. It's
for all my Kentucky
fair
friends,
game.
I apologize. It was just a joke.
Yeah. So Renatus was January 1, 2011 was the first day of, basically the day that Renatus opened its doors.
Yep.
So you were a real estate investor before then.
I was.
I'm assuming, I mean, I've known you for much of that time, but your real estate business has really picked up over the years.
It has.
And you guys have done a lot, I know, at least during the time that you've been with Renatus. Enough so that you really replaced your income. Like you could have.
Yes.
There was a time, I think, in 2016 at which you had reached that point. Was it 2016 where you reached that point where it was like, okay, so now real estate is bringing in more income than than your full-time
I think it was
job.
It was 2016 when I realized it.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Okay, so why didn't you quit Renatus at that time? Why didn't you become full-time real estate investor and just
So I'll tell you this
stop
story.
the 9-to-5 stuff,
I'll tell you this story.
Yeah.
I was sitting in Bob's office when it dawned on me that I make more money coming through my real estate than I did with him.
Right.
And I thought out loud and I said that. And he got this look on his face like, wait, what? Wait, you're going to leave? Like that's what he thought. What he heard.
Yeah.
And I said, it was at that moment that I said, Bob, I don't work at Renatus because I have to. I work at Renatus because I choose to. And, I love telling that story because it was a very authentic moment for me.
Yeah.
But it's one that I rehearse, not the story, but rehearse the thought that I get to work at Renatus. I am so inspired by what we do, by the tools that we provide people, for the lives that I have personally seen just transformed because of Renatus, because of their affiliation with Renatus.
Yeah.
I would not trade that. Yeah. I love it. I absolutely love what we do. And I love being able to be a small part of that for so many people. And that is what energizes me every day. That's what powers me up, Yeah. That's what really gets me going is the thought that I play a very small part in helping other people to change their lives. I love accountability. I love being accountable for who I am. I love saying, yeah, I messed that up or I did that well, or, I don't like blaming other people.
Yeah.
Ever since the time that I was a kid. And it really kind of getting way too personal here. It started when my parents got divorced.
Yeah.
Because I had a lot of friends whose parents were divorced and they would blame their parents for different things. Oh, my parents this, my parents that. And I thought, I will never be that guy. I never want to blame my actions on somebody else. And so it's been with me for a very long time. And so with Renatus, I love seeing other people latch onto that idea that I can be responsible for my outcome. I can be responsible for the success that I create. I can be responsible for the learning that I go through, for the victories that I have, for my defeats. I am responsible for who I am. And watching people accept that, grasp it, hold on to it, and then do these phenomenal things with it. Yeah.
Jay.
Yes. I would give good money to work here.
That is awesome. What you just described is exactly what I love most about Renatus. There's a lot to love here. But the thing that I love most is just what you said. Seeing somebody change their mindset. It's not even so much their situation.
Right.
Those are fun. I get giddy. As a matter of fact, just yesterday we paid somebody a big fat paycheck, and I busted into your office because I had to review the commissions and stuff, and I
and that
busted
individual
in there.
has been on this podcast.
That
before.
individual has been on this podcast,
Yes.
but I was just so excited to see this individual just crushing it.
Yeah.
And making big fat paychecks, and that was really fun. So I get very excited about that. But the thing I get excited about most is what you said. To see that victim, I call it a victim mindset, basically where, you know, your actions are because of somebody else, and everything is always something, you know, somebody did something to you and now you're harmed and you can't.
Right.
I can't, I won't, you know, it's this person, and the blame goes out. To see that shift to where people start to take ownership over their lives and their actions, and then beautiful things start to happen because they start to live on purpose, and they start to take actions on purpose, and they stop letting the world just affect everything and control their life, and they take the control and they go do.
Right.
I love that. That makes it's so fun to see. I've seen it over and over and over with so many individuals. It just gets me excited.
Me too.
I love it, man.
Me too. And it's the results that they create. That is the fruit of the tree, right? As that tree of belief grows in every one of us in what we can do, you know, just like you said, it's not watching the situation change, it's watching the person change.
Yes.
And as that tree comes to fruition, those fruits, that's the situation changing. That's fun to see, and that's what other people notice. But what I like to see is the tree grow. I like to see that person where it finally does go from their head to their heart, and they start believing in who they are and what they can do.
Yeah. Couldn't have said it better.
Love it.
I do too, man. I've never taken the show out before. Some inspiring things.
Inspiring message here.
It literally just occurred to me. It was like, I don't have any more questions or anything. So I hadn't thought about it, but
so let me just say this. You know, I can't make any promises or guarantees for anybody who's on the line with us. I can't tell you how your life will change, or I can only give you from my experience that when you accept that, one, it's okay if you fall short of the mark, as long as you use what you've learned to exceed the mark the next time. And two, that you should always take progress over perfection. Perfection takes so long to craft and create that you will have missed so much progress along the way. Where if you accept progress over perfection, you will constantly be celebrating your own life. You'll constantly be celebrating those small successes, those opportunities where you've learned and grown and been able to push yourself a little bit further and believe in yourself just a little bit more. And the last thing that I really want to say, and this is something that I hold very deep in my soul, and that is that if you learn to laugh at yourself, you will never cease to be amused. So I love Renatus, and Renatus rocks.